Today, we are going to discuss about the outcome-based education. And in this outcome-based education, which is order of the day, as you know, the future engineering graduates not only teach content, okay, to be knowledgeable, and his or her discipline must also needs a new set of soft and professional skills and competencies. So hence, in recent years, there have been essential changes in engineering education, that is what to teach, that is the content that you have, how to knowledge delivery, and how to assess. So before we
Sir,
go to OPE, can you hear me?
sir, sorry to interrupt. Somewhat louder, sir.
Whether not okay.
It's not audible, sir, right? Some
Disturbance. Is it audible now? Is it audible?
Audible, but small disturbance are there, sir.
Disturbance is there. Okay. Am I audible now?
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Now it's audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Right. Right. Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about outcome-based education, which has been adopted long back in 2018 by Indian government. In this particular, I'm going to explain some assessment strategies like Bloom's taxonomy, COPO mapping, and also attainment. Attainment in simple ways. See, there are different ways of attaining CO and PO. And I'm going to teach simple CO and PO attainment, except rubrics, because rubrics needs a lot of exercise. And whatever I'm going to deal with today is very simple and understandable. Only thing is you need to focus a little bit more. If you focus and listen carefully, then you will be able to do this exercise very easily. And welcome to this awareness on outcome-based education. Now, let us see the focus, the main focus on OBE, and what are the key questions that will arise before going to the actual discussion. So now engineering, essential challenges in engineering education is like what to teach, how to teach, and how to assess. What to teach means the content that we are delivering, and how to teach means the knowledge delivery, and how to assess means the student learning. So how we measure the student learning is to assess in a particular procedure, and that procedure includes the examinations reforms. Okay. In 2018, the AICTE, that is Government of India with AICTE, has actually reformed certain examination reforms policy, where the students are assessed for their learning outcomes. Learning outcomes in the sense that we have so many learning outcomes, because the students are going to study almost 40 courses in their particular graduation, that 4 years of study. And actually, in these 4 years, it is not only the subject knowledge, but we actually wanted to have an overall development in all the areas. So for that, AICTE with his team has devised certain parameters called program outcomes, course outcomes, etc. We will discuss one by one what are these program outcomes, what are these course outcomes, and what are program specific outcomes, and what are program educational outcomes. So let us see one by one. First of all, when we focus, we have key questions that we should ask ourselves. What do we want our students be able to do? Okay, what do we want our students to be able to do means we need to, it is stated in the program outcomes. I will let you know what are those program outcomes and how come our students achieve it. How students can achieve it by means of through curriculum, courses with outcomes, course outcomes, teaching, learning, and assessment of the students, as I said. And how will we know whether the students have achieved it? So we will know only when we assess the attainment of COs and POs. So these are the various steps. These are the three questions that we need to question ourselves and why this OB is introduced into our education system. So this is the model of overview or a model of outcome-based education. Definitely every college and every department will be having their mission statements and their program educational objectives. And the college vision should be aligned with this mission and program outcome objectives. See, vision is our college vision or departmental vision, because see, here there is a broad spectrum of these three, vision, mission, and POs. When it comes to department has a vision, department has a mission, and department has some program educational objectives. These are also, we have already developed these POs, mission statements for their respective departments. And with these POs, the outcomes can be the COs and POs. CO means course outcome and PO means program outcome. Now, when these COs and POs are defined, these are to be assessed. There are some measurement methods like assessment and assessment criteria like that. So we need to measure the attainment of these course outcomes and program outcomes. So, and finally, when we implement these, first of all, when we map the CO and POs and using this measurement methods and assessment criteria, we should do result analysis. When we do the result analysis, okay, identify the action and implement. So this is one another area where we need to find out the gaps and finally realize the improvements. So this is the overview of the model. Let us go into how these things are actually achieved. Okay. Sir, clear, sir? My voice is clear?
Yes, sir, clear, sir.
Yes, sir, thank you. So let us see what is an outcome. Here there are some sentences. Course outcome states what a student on successful completion of the course and earning a pass grade and the credit can perform, do or demonstrate with what he or she had learned in the course. See, actually, first of all, we should know clearly what is a course outcome. As you all know that in our curriculum, in our syllabus also, they used to give the course outcome. Course means a subject. For example, you have a thermal engineering subject or a C programming subject. So at the end of this particular subject, what are the outcomes that a student have to achieve? That is the first, we need to define these course outcomes, and these course outcomes can vary between 3 to 10 sometimes, and depending upon the length of the syllabus and the topics that are there in the syllabus. So you know about the course outcomes. Everyone knows that there in the syllabus they will give, generally the university will give 3 or 4 course outcomes. But keep in mind that course is related to one particular subject, right? So when we teach, the student should be able to do all these three, perform all these 3 course outcomes. They should be able to achieve those course outcomes at the end of the course. Okay. So note that the emphasis is on applying the knowledge imparted or acquired by a successful student in the course and not the knowledge per sem or year. The course outcome is applicable to only that particular subject. Okay. Now let us see the example of these course outcomes. And before that, let us define what is program educational objectives. See, there is a difference between program educational objectives and course outcomes. Program educational objectives are broad statements that describe the career and professional achievement that a program is preparing the graduate to achieve within first few years after graduation. See, course outcome is related to that particular subject, and at the end of the semester, that particular course outcome is assessed for its attainment. But whereas program educational objectives means after he completes his program, that means program is BTech is a program, MTech is a program, MBA is a program. So we have 3 programs and we have some number of courses out there, right? So in this this PEO, that is program educational objective, is actually describe the career and professional achievement that the program is preparing the graduates to achieve within the first few years of the graduation. So program educational objectives to ఇప్పుడు మనకు పని లేదు. Generally, PEOs are assessed indirectly via interaction with alumni, industry, and persons associated with the program or institute. So now the program educational objectives is nothing to do with as far as present this CEO concern. We will do it at a later stage, right? But we should know what is a PEO. And this is a program, for example, mechanical engineering. This I have taken from our website. Mechanical engineering department has defined 3 program educational objectives, 1, 2, and 3. Graduates expertise their technical knowledge, creativity, and problem solving skills towards employment, higher education, and research. This is, let us say, this is one program educational objective. So what we need to do is to calculate this PEO1, that means to calculate the attainment of PEO1, we need to invite the alumni and ask them. We need to frame certain questions related to this PEO1, like how far they have acquired the technical knowledge in the college, how much creativity has been imparted to them, and what are their problem solving skills towards employment or higher education, etc. We need to frame that questions, and we need to take either directly or indirectly, and we have to see that attainment of PEO1 is achieved. This is when the student leaves the organization, and we have to take the assessment of this PEO1, 2, 3, okay, after 1 or 2 years. So we need to call the alumni, and then we need to ask the details, and we need to calculate the attainment of PEOs defined by the concerned department. Likewise, every department is having this program educational objectives, and we will discuss about this at a later part, because now we are concentrating mainly on the mapping of COPO and attainment of course outcomes and program outcomes. Okay. Coming to this also we will discuss. This is program specific outcomes, which is related to only that particular department. Okay, we will discuss it later. Coming to program outcomes. See, as I said in the beginning, we know students not only have a knowledge in their particular domain, but they should also have certain knowledge, the areas that is specified. As you can see this, we have 12 program outcomes, like engineering knowledge is our basic thing, and problem analysis, design and development of solutions, conduct investigations of complex problems, modern usage of tools, environment and sustainability, ethics, individual and teamwork, communication, project management, and lifelong learning. See, these are the program. Suppose if a student joined in our college in BTech CSC, he should have all these attributes. These are all called the graduate attributes. Actually, as per AICTE, these are called as graduate attributes. And when it comes to NBA, they have converted these parameters into program outcomes. A student who is joining in our college should not only have the engineering, their subject knowledge in domain, but instead they should have all these 12 parameters, including their communication skills, including ethics and including the consciousness towards environment and also the sustainability of the environment and modern tool uses and so on. So that means when we are designing a program, see, we have, let us take an example. Okay, we have 40 courses in a particular department. So in the, suppose let us take the mechanical engineering. So they have basic core technical domain like thermal engineering, production engineering, and so on. And along with that, the students are studying mathematics. The students are studying computer science, that is programming part a little bit. They are studying managerial economics. They are studying management science. So that means some or other out of these 40 courses, most of the program outcomes will be attributed one or other of all these 12 program outcomes. So that is how the curriculum has been designed. For example, if you take design of machine members, that particular design of machine members will satisfy only 3 or 4 program outcomes. Like anyhow, the first one is inevitable engineering knowledge. So in design of machine members, the problem solving will be there and design will be there anyhow. And solving some complex problems also will be there. And when we are solving, when we are doing the design, we use modern tools also. Likewise, if you take the first 5 program outcomes, all these things will be, hello? Are you able to see me?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir. Screen is not available.
I think some sharing is.
No, sir.
Just a minute.
Sharing off.
Let me share one second. Let me join the meeting once again. I was somehow. Sir, can you tell me the meeting ID? 829 827 8297
829 3834, sir.
Sir, అంత స్పీడ్ గా చెప్తారా సార్?
Sir, 829
Yeah.
729
Okay.
3834, sir.
3834.
Same password కూడా అదే, sir.
Yeah. I will share from my mobile. There is an issue with my laptop. Can you
Sir,
hear me?
otherwise, please share it, sir. I'll share it.
Sir, it is, I have sent it to principal.bitsvizag@gmail.com. Can you download it and share? Or otherwise, I will share just a minute.
Okay, sir.
Some firewall is blocking.
Sir, please send it, sir. Through WhatsApp, so that
Yeah.
I can.
Yes, sir, I've joined.
Okay, sir.
Sir, STP garu.
STP garu.
Sir, sir.
Sorry. Enable చేయండి.
అలాగే సార్. ప్రిన్సిపల్ సార్ లేకపోతే మీది పర్సనల్ సార్?
ప్రిన్సిపాల్ బిట్స్. ప్రిన్సిపాల్ బిట్స్.
Sir, done, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So can you see? Yes.
Yes.
So now. Where we are?
Sir, slideshow, sir.
Right.
We have been discussing about this program outcomes. As I said, when we have 40 courses in for a program over the span of 4 years, all these program outcomes or graduate attributes will somewhere they will connect. We need to identify those things. That is nothing but.
Sir, sorry, sir. Sir, can you please make it the slideshow, sir? Slideshow.
Sure. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So all these 40 courses are connected to either 1 or 2 or 3 of these program outcomes. Only thing is we need to connect all these COs and POs. That is nothing but our CO PO mapping, right? And let us see about course outcomes once again. How we actually these course outcomes are connected, right? Course outcomes are also known as learning outcomes. Generally, learning outcomes is being specified in ABET, which is as per Washington Accord. But in India, we use course outcomes. So these course outcomes are given in the curriculum, and we design and detail courses in terms of syllabus description, prerequisite, etc. See here, this LTPC is lecture. This is practice. This is the tutorial, and C is our credits. Okay. So in our curriculum itself, all the the course outcomes are mentioned. Only thing is we need to map with our program outcomes. I will tell you in detail how these course outcomes are mapped with the program outcomes. Therefore, teaching, learning, and assessments like the quiz, we have the mid examinations, we have descriptive examinations, we have assignments, and all these are actually need to identify, okay, the course outcomes that we are going to describe. Okay, therefore, the COs are the central to the outcome-based education. For example, you can see course outcomes in heat and mass transfer. He has given, we can give more than, see here, there are 7 outcomes. 6 is here. Solving practical engineering problems using basic concepts of heat and mass transfer. Likewise, every course will have course outcomes that is specified. Sometimes the university will give only 2 or 3 course outcomes, but if the teacher feels that more course outcomes are coming out of it, you can add more number of course outcomes. But adding more number of course outcomes means adding more complexity in calculating the attainment and while mapping the CO and POs. Okay. See, let us see how this CO PO mapping is done. Okay. The CO PO mapping is in terms of course outcomes in rows and program and POs we have in column side. And each element or cell of the matrix has values of 0, 1, 2, 3. That means we have CO1, CO2. Again, lost, sir.
Sir, please share me, sir, so that I will share.
Yeah, I will share you. I will share right now.
Through WhatsApp.
Yeah, sure. Sir, see, I have sent it to you.
Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
Okay. Please share it here.
Sir, is it visible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Please tell me where to stop, sir.
Yes, yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. Next. Slow. Next. Next. Yes, here. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. There is a network issue here. See, you can on the slide on the screen you can see CO-PO mapping can be done in a matrix of 1, 2, 3. See here dash. There are 2 dashes were given. That is that CO row has a very low significance contribution to the PO column. 1 is relevant to small significance, 2 is relevant to medium significance, and 3 is relevant to strong significance. See, in rows we have COs, and in columns in y-axis you will have the POs, and we have 12 program outcomes that I have shown to you. Okay, these 12 program outcomes are to be mapped with the particular course outcome, right? Let us see how we can do that. Next slide, please. This is an example of CO-PO mapping. Now you can see CO1. For example, as I said in our previous course outcomes for heat and mass transfer, okay, in this one, solve practical engineering problems using basic concepts of heat and mass transfer. Sir, go to the slide. The program, yes. Not previous, right? Go to the, yes. See here, program outcome 1, PO1 is mapped with the CO1. And the level is 2. See, there are 3 levels. 1 is of very low significance. Okay. 2 is of less significance. 3 is of moderate significance. And the 3 is of high significance. So based on this, you have to map like this. And 1, 2, 3 significances I will tell you by taking an example at the later stage. Okay, this is how we map the CO and PO. Go to the other slide, please. And before writing COs, okay, we should talk about the Bloom's taxonomy levels. For every question paper, we need to write the Bloom's taxonomy levels. For example, if a question paper contains, see, we have 3 questions, 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, right? And that you have, let us say you have 5 or 6 course outcomes, CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, and CO5. And you have 12 program outcomes. One thing is very sure that the all program outcomes cannot be attained or achieved in a single question paper. Let us say we have a mid one. Generally in mid one, we need to set our questions in such a way that there will be only 1, 2, 3 or maximum 4 levels. For example, in our mid examinations. See, first level is knowledge. That means the student can remember or recall whatever the question is given. And second level is comprehension. That is, the student should understand the concept and he has to write down. And the third one is application. Let us say there are some formulas are there. We need to apply the data in that formula, and then he has to get the outcome. And the fourth level is analysis. Suppose some data is given, we need to do the analysis, and then that is the fourth level of question paper, fourth level of this Bloom's taxonomy, and fifth one is evaluation, and sixth one is creating, synthesis or creating. Generally, for all the mid question paper, the descriptive papers, we can go for up to 1 to 4 levels. We will call it as Bloom's taxonomy level 1. BT level 1 is knowledge, BT level 2 is comprehension, BT level 3 is applying, BT level 4 is analyzing, and BT L5 is evaluating, and BT L6 is creating. So when you prepare the question paper, you have to first of all describe that which level of question you are giving to the students. Generally, as I said, in the mid examinations, we will go for up to 4 levels, and for semester end examinations, we will go for others also. And most of the creating and evaluating will be done in our project works, and mini project works, etc. will be these 5 levels will be implemented. Okay. Next slide, please. See, I have taken 2 important references for the study by all teaching faculty of engineering programs. Okay, one is examination reform policy, which is given in 2018 by AICTE, and I have taken some screenshot and explained one by one what we are going to do in this particular COPO mapping. And also we have some model question papers. We have some mechanical question papers, and also computer science question papers are there, and we will see how to define COs. POs are already defined, and how this Bloom's taxonomy levels are to be attained, and all that. I have taken references from these 2 documents, which is approved by AICTE, right? Please, next slide, please. This is the policy. This I have shared in our WhatsApp. This entire policy, examination reform policy, has been, because this is the base document for assessment of COs, POs, and their attainments. Let us go for the next one. See here, in this particular session, I am going to deal with anyhow. Introduction is already done. I am going to deal with mapping program outcomes to assessment. There is a 2-step process to bringing clarity to POs, and I am going to deal with the Bloom taxonomy for assessment design, and the action verbs for assessment and assessment planning. And finally, the last one I am not going to deal. I am going to deal with how the attainment is done using a simple method. Right? Next slide, please. See, in the appendices also we have this data, like how the competencies. So I will tell you what is a competency and performance indicators for POs, and for both computer science engineering as well as the mechanical engineering also there is a sample, and even other branches, all departments sample questions are there, and how they have the Bloom's taxonomy levels are defined, how the competencies and performance indicators are defined. Everything we will see. First of all, let me discuss about the assessment strategy for outcome-based education. Firstly, there is a 2-step process bringing clarity to the POs. The first step is to identify the competencies to be attained for each PO. What is the program outcome 1? Program outcome 1 is engineering knowledge. Imparting engineering knowledge is the program outcome 1. For this program outcome 1, what are the competencies that we need to define? Okay, and accordingly, we need to define the performance indicators also. I will tell you what are these, what are the competencies and what are the performance indicators. Okay, please, next slide, please. For example, see, next slide, please. Next slide, please. I will explain in a better way. Go to the other way, other one. Next slide. We'll come back to this. Next slide. See, this is the program outcome, competencies, and performance indicators. For a mechanical engineering program. These competencies and performance indicators can be changed, can be depending upon the faculty understanding. and the standard set of competencies and indicators were given in this table. For example, you can see the competency one point. See, program 1 point, PO1. What is PO1? Program outcome 1 is engineering knowledge. That means we need to apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, and an engineering specialization for the solution of the complex engineering problem. This is our first program outcome 1. For this program outcome 1, we need to define clearly the competencies and indicators. For example, in this particular PO1, is defined 4 competencies. One is the student should be able to demonstrate competence in mathematical modeling, and he should be able to demonstrate competence in basic sciences also, because mathematics is involved. Demonstrate competency in engineering fundamentals. You can see all these competencies are there in the definition of the program outcome 1. Can you see? Demonstrate competence in mathematical modeling, demonstrate competence in basic sciences, demonstrate competence in engineering fundamentals, and demonstrate competence in specialized engineering knowledge to the program. All these things are taken from the basic definition of the engineering knowledge, right? So for these, that means the student should be able to do all these 4, should be able to perform all these 4 competencies. And see, these competencies have some indicators, like for example, you can see for this particular competency 1.1, you have 1.1.1. In this particular competency, what we need to do, we have to apply techniques such as calculus, linear algebra, and statistics to solve the problems. See, when the student will get the mathematical modeling, when he is able to apply mathematical techniques such as calculus, linear algebra, and statistics to solve the problem. Similarly, to achieve this competency, the student should apply advanced mathematical techniques to model and solve the mechanical engineering problems. Right? These are the indicators, and this is a competency. If the student is able to perform these indicators, achieve these indicators, we can achieve the competency which is related to the program outcome 1. Right? Similarly, we have another one, demonstrate competence in basic sciences. See, first year, that is the reason why basic sciences is introduced in the first years. Apply laws of natural sciences to an engineering problem. Okay, this is the only one indicator which is given to achieve the competency of program outcome 1. Similarly, we can see the third competency is engineering fundamentals. Apply fundamental engineering concepts to solve the engineering problem. See, for every program outcome, we have 12 program outcomes, PO1, PO2, PO3 and all. And every program outcome, we will have the competencies and indicators. Okay. Next slide, please. See, this is the program outcome 2. The program outcome 2 is problem analysis. For mechanical engineering, it is given. Similarly, for computer science also it is given. For other things, we need to, the teachers has to write as per their course, right? And we have certain literature also. We can take from the literature, and we can use the same competency and indicators, okay, from the literature. There is no need for us to break our heads there. Okay, this particular PO1, PO2, all the program outcomes, competencies and indicators are related to mechanical engineering, right? So here also you have in PO2 is having 1 competency, and there are 3 indicators, all the performance indicators. Similarly, we have another competency, that is demonstrate an ability to formulate a solution plan and methodology for engineering problems. For this, he has given 4 indicators. Okay, all these things are to be assessed. Okay, don't worry if you don't understand now. When we really take I have a case study, I will that we have done earlier. I will show you how a question paper is is designed with all COs, POs, and performance indicators, etc., along with Bloom taxonomy, so that you will understand in a better way. But one thing you should understand at this point is every program outcome will have its own competency and the indicators. Okay, we need to identify those competencies and indicators program outcome wise, so that it is very easy to map the COs and POs. The issue is here the main objective is to map the CO and PO. So for that, we need to know actually what are the competency levels the students should possess. To achieve that competency, what are the indicators that we need to measure? So these are very important. So I think, can you go to the next slide, please? Next slide. PO3. Yes, PO2. Next, sir. We are going. What is the previous slide?
Is not there.
Okay, no problem. He has given certain only some things, right? Okay. See, similarly, we have PO8 ethics. See, in our curriculum, we have professional ethics and human values, right? So here also we have 1-2 competencies, and we have indicators which is measured, which is already indicated here. So we need to see that while you are teaching the course, first of all, you have to you know what are the course outcomes. You already know what are the program outcomes, and only thing is you need to write down the competencies and the indicators. If you are able to write down these two, competency and indicators corresponding to that particular program outcome, okay, then it is very easy for us to map the COs and POs. Right? Next slide, please. Next slide. This is PO10. PO10 communication. Communication, right? Communication is, as all you know, it is very important, and every college is struggling with this particular attribute. And for this communication, we need to design the competencies and indicators. Okay? We have 3 competences, and the corresponding indicators are given here. You can make use of the same indicators for most of the program outcomes, as only for certain knowledge design part, engineering knowledge and design and certain things we need to change. Rest you can use the same competencies and indicators. Next slide, please. See, in this one we have given only very few things, few program outcomes and their competencies and the indicators. Right? I can give you the others also, other one, because PO3, after that we have got to PO8. Okay, now it is 12, which is a lifelong learning. Right? So we should always inculcate among the students about the lifelong learning, and how to do that is our indicators, and whether he has achieved it or not is the competency. We need to measure all these things. Okay, things are measured, okay, by calculating the course outcomes, attainment of course outcomes, and attainment of program outcomes. That we will see later. But I'm just telling you how these program outcomes, okay, are how to frame this competency and indicators, okay, with respect to the corresponding program outcomes. Right? Next slide, please. This is continuation. Is the next slide? Is it the next one? Yes.
This is the program outcome 12 slides, sir. Next,
Okay.
continuation slide.
Yeah. Please. Next slide, please. You will see for computer science also we have all these competencies and indicators corresponding to the program outcomes. At a later part, we can see that. Okay. Now let us come back to again the Bloom's taxonomy. Okay. First thing is we know what is course outcome. We know what are program outcomes, and now we have seen what are the Bloom's taxonomy levels. As I said, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 parameters are there. 1 is very easy and 6 is difficult. Okay. So if you see a question paper for an semester and examination, all these 6 levels, that is how the Bloom's taxonomy levels are to be incorporated in the examination paper. Okay. This already we discussed, like remembering is just recalling. You can see the hierarchy here. Remembering is very simple. It's at the bottom. The questions should have the remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and also creating. And one thing, the Bloom's taxonomy is hierarchical. That is meaning the learning at higher level requires that skills at a lower level are attained. So that is the reason why we will have easy questions to tough questions in a question paper. Okay. You cannot give the questions just like that. Okay. Now, how do you say that particular, see, when you are framing the questions, how do you say this question is related to Bloom's taxonomy level 1, that is understanding, and level 2, level 3, and finally level 6. Okay. There are some action verbs for the assessment. For example, see, when you write the question, okay, let us see what are the verbs that we use for the level 1. For the level 1, we can use list, define, tell, describe. See, I will give you the list of these question cues, okay, which demonstrates the level 1. Okay, so that means when we say define Ohm's law or something, okay, that will describe so and so. That is only a remembering part. Okay, that's the easiest question. There is no analysis, there is no problem solving, nothing is there, right? So therefore, this is the least or the level 1 question that should also be there in our question paper. We should have level 1 to level 4 in the mid questions, and semester examinations we will have all the level 5 except level 6. Level 6 is related to our projects and the mini projects. Next slide, please. See the understanding part. See the question cues here. Here also explain. Describe can be either in level 1 or level 2. See that certain verbs that we use while framing the questions will have either will have some overlap in level 1 and level 2 or even level 3 also, right? So we can say describe or explain or paraphrase or restate, associate, contrast, summarize, differentiate, interpret, discuss. So when we say interpret or when we say differentiate, okay, the student should have the understanding level, that is the level 2. Similarly, for apply, we have to apply some problems, solve problems using required skills or knowledge, etc. So therefore, we can start the question with calculate or predict, apply or solve, illustrate, demonstrate, etc. So when we see the question, we will know what level of Bloom's taxonomy we are using, right? Coming to the analyze, okay, that is the 4th level of Bloom's taxonomy is analyze. So in analyze, we can use classify, outline, breakdown, categorize, analyze, diagram, illustrate, infer. So these are the different question cues, or we'll also call it as verbs that we use when we start the questions. So this that means this particular part requires the analysis level of the students, right? So we have to frame our question paper introducing all these levels. Next slide, please. Finally, we have evaluate and create. Evaluate is a little bit tougher than the analyze, where after analysis, we need to evaluate, like we need to assess or decide whether, let us say, whether the block is moving upward or move or downward or like that, okay? Or choose or rank, grade, measure, okay, defend, conclude, okay? So this evaluate will have such verbs, and create is of course the design, formulate, build, okay, create, compose. You can see these are the verbs. I will share with you when you frame the questions of your question paper, you can use these verbs for the particular level of Bloom's taxonomy. Okay. Next slide, please. See, as I said, you can see this. The first three, and of course the fourth one also, we use it for course creating, evaluating, analyzing. We generally use this for our course projects or mini projects or minor projects or caption projects. And rest like remembering, understanding and applying, and also the analyzing. As I said, first 4 levels we can use it in our continuous internal evaluation. CI is continuous internal evaluation and SC is semester and examination. So in semester and examination, we will have only these 4 levels. Okay, and also in our mid examination. But in our projects, we will have these mini projects, minor or post project, etc. And sometimes in some design projects, in some design, what do you call, subjects, we can go for evaluating and creating also. So for example, we have some CAD/CAM lab or simulation lab. Okay, we can always ask them to create something, right? So that questions will come under this Bloom's taxonomy level 5, level 6, right? So while now finally what I would like to say, when we are preparing a question paper, we need to see that at least 4 levels of questions are there in the question paper for internal assessment, continuous internal assessment. We are not bothered about semester external examinations because that is being framed by the external or JNTU evaluators, JNTU paper setters. We are bothered about the continuous internal evaluation, that is our mid questions. The mid question paper should contain at least 4 levels of Bloom's taxonomy, right? Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Actually, this is relevant. This appendix A is competencies and performance indicators related to the computer science engineering. In the last slides, we have seen the competences and performance indicators for mechanical engineering, and this is related to computer science. Okay, so SDB Garu, you can go through that. Okay, these are all self-explanatory.
Yes, sir.
I have explained in mechanical engineering. I think this will be this is self-explanatory. You can define these competencies and indicators for your branch of engineering. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, let us see some sample questions for Bloom's taxonomy levels, right? First of all, remember. As I said, for remember, we can use some verbs like describe, define, state, recite, etc. Okay, and the skill demonstrated here from this level of questions is only ability to recall of information like facts, conventions, definitions, etc. Right? The sample is not there. Next slide, please. See, some sample questions are here. State Ohm's law. List the physical and chemical properties of silicon. List the see, these questions require only remembering. The student should remember certain things. These are the easiest questions that we can give. But this easiest question should also be there in our question paper. Okay, especially for continuous internal evaluation. Next slide, please. See here we have 16 questions are given related to all branches of engineering. List the different storage class specifiers in C. Okay, what is a pointer to a pointer? Okay, what are the valid places? See, these are all the sample questions for level 1. Next slide, please. Second one is understand. Okay, see the sample question here. Explain the importance of sustainability in engineering design. See, in this we have used explain, right? You can see the verb. You can see the verb here: describe, explain, okay, restate, associate, etc. Okay, describe the characteristics of SCR and transistor equivalent for a SCR. So this to answer this question, the student should understand the concept. Then only he can answer, right? So we need to include such type of questions. These are other sample questions that we have discussed. The summarized here we have values. There is a program also given that is corresponding to computer science engineering. See, explain is there, discuss is there. We have how differentiate. Okay, what is the difference between? What are the meaning of? Okay, these are all the sample verbs that we use when we go for the second level of Bloom's taxonomy. Next slide. Apply. Okay. In this apply, first of all, the student should be able to use the information that is given in the problem, that is given in the question, use methods that is given to that particular question, use the concepts, just to use the laws, theories, etc. Right? So for that, we need to use this calculate, predict, because when we use the verb calculate, the student should be able to have certain knowledge on the methods, the concepts, the formulas, the theories, etc. Right? So that's why we use calculate, use predict, apply. So the data is given, we need to apply that data in the respective formulas and all and get the outcome. Okay, or solve. Solve means we need to solve the problems by applying whatever the data is given in it. So this level, the third level is apply. That means the student should be able to apply his knowledge. Okay, in applying the given data in the formulas that are in that particular question, right? These are the sample questions you can see. Sample questions like model and realize. Okay, go to the next slide, please. See, generally, this when it comes to apply, most of the problems will come into this because the data is given to them. Okay, that data has to be applied in a particular formula to get the respective outcome, right? That's why you can see most of the sample questions are problematic questions. Like you can see the first question: a ladder of 5 meter long rests on a ground. So this problem is related to engineering mechanics, where we can find out calculate the coefficient of friction. See here, calculate the coefficient of friction between the ladder and the student should apply the formulas, okay, into the given apply the given data into the formula and find out the solutions. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Done, sir.
Yeah, these are all again for next. This is analyze applies over. Coming to analyze. See, the student again should be able to analyze what the question demands. Like you need to classify or outline or break down. Certain data is given. We need to find out. We need to categorize, and we need to do some analysis, or we need to draw a diagram, or we need to illustrate, or we need to infer or select. See, there are two things are there. One is buy and another one is sell. You need to select either buy or sell the product. Okay, different depending on the analysis that we do. So such questions we need to use the question cues like what are the verbs that are there on the right. We need to use those verbs to see that the analyze type of questions are in the question paper. See, fortunately, we can use either 3 or 4th one. Okay. 4 Bloom's taxonomy level questions are enough for our continuous internal assessment. The next create and all is not necessary. Okay, see the sample questions here. Okay, some data is given, right? A class of 10 students consists of 5 males and so on is given. He asks you to, the overall average of the class is 70. Give 2 ways of predicting the score and analyze them for fitting the model. You can see the verb analyze is used in this question. So somewhere, see some data is given. He asked you to use 2 methods to analyze the particular data. Okay, that is how the questions will be. Okay, as the question starts from remember to create, the level of understanding and the level of questions will obviously will increase. Okay, we can go up to 4 only, maximum 4 only in our continuous internal assessment. Next slide, please. These are all again different sample questions. Okay. You can go through that. I will share this to everyone. I will share this in the group. You can go through this. And tomorrow we will have an hands-on session on this particular OBE. Okay, we can do that. It will take only 1 day to for one subject to calculate the CO and PO mapping as well as attending. And the 5th one is evaluate. As I said, evaluate and create is not necessary at this point of time because these things are necessary for projects, mini projects, etc. Okay, let's skip this because now we, as per the NAC is concerned, we should concentrate on only first 4 Bloom's taxonomy levels. Okay, these are the different sample problem and need statements for create. Next slide, please. I'm not going to discuss this create and the previous one, right? Let us see how a question paper should be. Now you will understand what I have seen. Intavaraku nenu cheppindi meeku em ardhamayina ardham kaakapoyina, at this point of time you will definitely understand what I am saying. Okay. See, this is the model question paper. We have 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 3A, and of course 3B is on the other slide. You can see the marks were given here. 8 marks for 1A, 12 marks for 1B, and so on. Similarly, the course outcomes. Can you go to the next slide, please? Once we'll come back again. Next slide. Yes. See, there are 5 A, B, C also. That means there are 5 questions. No. Go to previous one. Go to 1A. See, I have seen there are 5 course outcomes in this particular course. They have identified 5 course outcomes: CO1, CO2, CO3, and so on up to CO5. First of all, we need to 1A. We need to map with the course outcome 1 to 5. Okay, course outcomes are there already. I have shown you one course outcome for heat and mass transfer. Okay. Explain the steps involved in solving a problem using computer. Okay. Generally, the steps involved and all, you will, that will be in CO1 only, right? So map your course outcomes with these questions. You can see CO1 is related to 1A, CO2 mapped to 1B. Similarly, CO3 is mapped to 2A, 2B, and 3A. And so on. Now that you can see the third column, that is BL, Bloom's taxonomy. See, explain in the, see what I said, explain is in either Bloom's taxonomy level 2 or level 3, right? So this particular question 1A using the verb explain comes under Bloom's taxonomy level 2. Okay. Now, this Bloom's taxonomy level 2, we have a program indicator. Okay, PI, program indicator 1.4.1. See, what I'm going to do is, let us forget about the program because the time is very less, because understanding the program indicators is very difficult. Let us concentrate on only CO and BL. When we write down the question paper, when you start to write the question paper, let us confine up to Bloom's taxonomy level. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, 3A, 3B. You can see CO4 is mapped to this question. Course outcome 3 is mapped to 4A, and you can see level 4 is also there. Level 4 is analysis. See, this program needs some analysis to get some output, right? So that's why L4 is given. Next slide, please. Similarly, we have CO5 and L4. That means this question paper has gone up to the Bloom's taxonomy level 4, up to analyzing. Okay, not beyond that. Okay, and which course outcome is actually connected, is being mapped here in this question paper itself. Now you can see, if you calculate the marks, see here we have 4B 12 marks, 5A 4 marks, 6 marks, 10 marks and all. Okay, next slide, please. See, out of that, sir, go to the first slide of Bloom's taxonomy, just here. See, CO1, 8 marks, right? CO2 is 12 plus 8, 20. Okay, here it is 20. Next, here it is also CO3 is 20. Next, go on and come to the chart. Next slide. Yes, here you can see the Bloom's taxonomy levels distribution. See, level 2 is actually 36%. In our question paper, level 2 questions. Sir, go to that slide. Go to that slide.
I'm already there, sir.
No, not here.
This one, level 2.
Okay. Just go to the chart, the pie chart. Okay. See how we have distributed the marks in our question paper is given in this pie chart. You can see the level 2 is almost 36%, level 3 is 18%, and level 4 is 46%. And most of the questions are, see, the majority is level 3. Okay, level 4 is only 8%, 18%. Okay, and level 1 questions are not there here. In fact, that means CO1 is not at all there in this one, but only 8%. See how the marks are distributed. CO1 is given only for 8 marks. CO2 is 20 marks. CO3 is 54 marks. CO4 is 12 marks. CO5 is 6 marks. If you add all these things, you will get 100 marks. Okay, so this is how we distribute the Bloom's taxonomy level, and the course outcomes can be the distribution can be done like this. Okay, for this particular question paper, this is the distribution that we have done. Next slide, please. Next slide. Let us see another question paper. Okay. Sir, this is the next one. Okay, go to previous one.
Yes.
Next. Previous. Okay. Next slide. Okay, stop here. See, these are the model question papers. All these 5 are there, and fortunately, we have these 5 branches of engineering. You can take inputs from these model question papers. Let us understand how these question papers are framed, and let us understand how the CO-PO mapping is done. Okay, next slide, please. In civil engineering, this is a model question paper for undergraduate program. Okay, advanced geotechnical engineering. Next slide, please. Next slide. The course name is Advanced Geotechnical Engineering. See the question paper. చూడండి, మనం చేస్తున్న క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్లు అన్ని హాఫ్ పేపర్లు లేదంటే 1/3 పేపర్లు ఉంటాయి, 1/3 ఆఫ్ A4 ఉంటాయి. So that is absolutely wrong. Okay, we need to change all our question papers like this, which indicates the course outcomes, the Bloom's taxonomy levels, and program outcomes, and of course PI code. PI code, as I said, is not necessary right now. Let us confine it to CO, DL, and PO. PO can be mapped because CO mapping is essential. See the first question. Okay, and he says that first 1A is mapped to CO1 because you know what are CO. Suppose if your subject is having 5 or 6 or 7 COs, course outcomes, you can map that CO here. Bloom's taxonomy level, as we have discussed, this particular thing is described. That means it is L3. And this is particular to subject engineering subject knowledge. Therefore, PO1 is mapped here. You can see 1A question is mapped to CO1 and PO1. Got my point? 1A, question number 1A is mapped to course outcome 1 and program outcome 1 and Bloom's taxonomy level 3. Okay. 1B is again CO1, L3, but program outcome is 4 because this question needs analysis. That's why this question, PO4 is design, it seems. What is PO4? PO4 is investigation, right? PO4 is investigation. That's why that program, first of all, you should know in fingertips what are the program outcomes 1 to 12, or otherwise you can have sheet beside you and then you can decide in which program outcome it is mapped. So this particular question related to program outcome 4, PO4. Next slide, please. Similarly, you can see, okay, marks are given, mapped to CO3, Bloom's taxonomy level is 2, and program outcome is 1. Okay, and so on. So likewise, all the questions have to be prepared. Next. Okay, previous slide, please. Previous slide. This is question paper. Next.
Yes, sir.
Next slide, please. Okay. Now, what we have to do is we need to calculate the marks, the course outcome wise marks distribution. దీని తర్వాత నేను ఒక శాంపిల్ చూపిస్తాను, మీరేం కన్ఫ్యూజ్ కాకండి. For example, there are 10 students are there. 10 students have written and on an average got 14 marks. Right? Here CO1 సంబంధించిన questions లో వాళ్ళకి average mark 14 వచ్చింది. Similarly, with respect to CO2, the average mark is 20. With respect to CO3, the marks are 14 and so. This is the course outcome wise marks distribution that we need to find out. So, me class lo, suppose if you have 120 students or 60 students, you know what are the course outcome 1 సంబంధించిన questions లో ఉన్న questions అన్నిటి వాళ్ళందరి మార్క్స్ మనం క్యాల్కులేట్ చేయాలి, చేసి యావరేజ్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, అండ్ క్వశ్చన్, దిస్ ఇస్ ద మార్క్స్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్. దాంట్లో చూడండి 6% is to 6% of the students have scored level 2 questions and 82% level 3 and 20% of students have attempted level 4 questions. That means you can understand what level of Bloom's taxonomy the students are achieving, okay, are able to answer, right? I will show you one case study, okay, so that you can understand better. Next slide, please. Yes, this is the case study that I wanted to show you. We have seen 1A, what is an algorithm? Explain the characteristics of an algorithm. This carries 5 marks. See, this particular question belongs to, as per the teacher, he says it belongs to level 1 and also level 2. And the course outcome is 2 and program outcome is 1. That means you need to apply the subject knowledge to solve this particular question number 1 here. Okay. Similarly, all the you can see up to 4 levels the question paper was set. And the course outcomes, I think 3, 6 is also there. That are 6 course outcomes for this particular course. Course means subject, right? And only 1, 2 program outcomes are being satisfied. Okay, are being mapped here. You can see. See the first question. Let us talk about 1A. 1A Bloom's level is L1 and L2. That means it is both remembering and understanding, and it belongs to course outcome 2 and it belongs to program outcome 1. So everything is this is our question paper. In fact, okay, this is our question paper. PI, forget it. Okay, we will do that from next time onwards. Let us talk about only BL, CO, and PO. Right? Next slide, please. Now let us see how to calculate the CO attainment. For example, I have taken only 10 students, but you will have 60, 120 also are there. But this is a very tedious job. But this is a very simple method to find out, to see how CO are attained. Okay. There is another method called rubrics. I'm not going to deal with rubrics because that will create a lot of confusion and we will do nothing out of that. Let us confine to a simple procedure to find out the CO attainment, right? For example, let us say there are 10 number of students are there. You can see left, the serial number 10 is there. Their registration numbers and name of the student is there. Okay. Now there are 3 questions, 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B. Let us say the student number 1, okay, has scored only 1 mark in 1A, okay, and 5 marks in 1B and so on, and 3B it is 5 marks, and subtotal and sum is out of 30 is scored only 18 marks. Okay, so for 15 is it is by 2, it is 9, right? And similarly, the quiz marks is 7 and assignment marks is 5, and mid marks is total mid marks out of 30 is 21. See, this is R16 long back. Okay, this was done in actually Vitam College of Engineering. Similarly, you can see the second student has scored like this. Okay, second student has scored the 25 marks, in which 1A how many marks he has scored, 1B how much he has scored, everything we need to write down in this table. Now see here, the 1A, sir, go back to the previous slide, previous one, just please. You can see 1A is actually is mapped to CO2 and PO1. Remember this. Let's go to the next slide. See, 1A is in the bottommost one, you can see CO2 and PO1. Is it visible to you? 1A is mapped to CO2 and PO1. Similarly, 1B is mapped to CO3 and PO1. 2A is mapped to CO3 and PO1. 2B is mapped to CO3 and PO1 and 2. And the CO is 3A is mapped to CO36 and PO12. And 3B is mapped to CO3 and PO1, right? Now, what we do is, let us total the marks. How many? I am talking about these only 10 students. Okay, you may have 50 or 100 or 110. Okay, you have to make a list. You have to make a Excel sheet and you enter all the 1A marks in that column by each and every student. Because to make it simple, I've taken only 10 students and the total score is 26. You can see. Total score is 26. And how many marks actually? Sir, can you go to the previous slide? How many marks? 5 marks. 1A is 5 marks. Next slide, please. 5 into 10, the maximum marks is how much? 50. Out of that, the 10 number of students have scored 26. Right? That means the percentage achieved is only 52%. That means the CO2 achieved is only 52% with respect to the question number 1A. And PO1 with respect to the question 1 is only 52%. Okay. Similarly, 1B, you can see the total marks by the 10 students is 32, but the maximum marks is only 50. That means 64% percentage of students able to answer this question, and that means they have reached the CO3 attainment is 64% with respect to the 1B question. Okay. Now 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, and so on. The percentages are given here. The total marks is 50. Okay, maximum marks is 50, and the total marks in 1A, 1B, 1B for all the students are calculated, and it is shown here. This shows, see, 1A is having CO2. Only 1A is mapped to CO2. But you can see 1B, 2A, 2B, and 3B. Also 3A, rest of all we have CO3, course outcome 3 is achieved. Is it not? Is mapped. Similarly, you can see the bottom one, PO, corresponding to program outcome. Program outcome 1 is mapped to almost all questions except almost all questions. As you can see, program 1 is in 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B also. Okay, but program outcome 2 is mapped to only what is this question? 2B, and 3A and 3A, right? So keep these things in mind. You again go back to here, come back to here. Let us go to the next slide. Let us see how this COPO attainment is calculated. See this table. You have CO1, CO2, CO3, and up to CO6, because in the question paper up to CO6 are there. Okay, percentage of achievement. See, in the second column, you can see CO2 is 52%, and CO3 is 58.4%. I will tell you how the CO3 is calculated. Go back to the previous slide. See, I will tell you how the CO3 is calculated. CO3 is there in 2A. No, sorry, 1B, 2B, 3A, 3B. Okay. See, in the red color, I have calculated. See, I have calculated the attainment of CO3. CO3 attainment calculation. That is, CO3 is there in only 1B. 1B, what is the percentage achieved? It is 64.
64.
And then 58. And then 54. And then 60. And then 56. How many are there by 5? So the CO attainment percentage is 58.4%. Okay, go to the next slide, please. That is what I have shown here. CO3 attainment is 58.4%. CO2 attainment, go to the previous slide. The previous slide, you can see CO2 is there in only 1A. And what is the percentage? 52. Go to the next slide, please. So the CO2 attainment is 52. You can see. Okay. Now let us come to the PO attainment. PO attainment, and then we will map COs and POs.
Sir, CO6, sir.
Yes. CO6 is there? Yes, of course. Let us go to the previous slide. PO6. Go to the previous slide. PO6 is in this particular. Show this. This is 60%. Right? 60% is achieved. There is no other, in no other question, the CO6 is mapped. Hence, CO6 is CO6 attainment is 60%. These values are percentage. Okay. Now coming to the PO number, we have 12 POs, as you know. It is need not. Sir, go to the next slide, please. Go to the next slide. Yeah. As you all know that we have 12 program outcomes, right? It is not that all the program outcomes are attained. And see, one thing I would like to tell you at this point is, all the program outcomes PO1 to PO12 will be attained over entire period of their education. That's 4 years. They used to study 40 what you call courses, and out of these 40 courses, all these things need to be satisfied, need to be attained. Okay, but for this particular subject, it is shown that only only PO1 and PO2 are attained. Okay, see in this you can see PO1 is 57%, 57.3. Come here, sir. PO1 is 57. So next slide. And PO2 is 57%. Next, let us see how this is calculated. Go back. Go back. Okay. PO1 is, see in which questions the PO1 is mapped? All questions the PO1 is mapped, right? Am I right? Now, sir, go to next slide once. I'll explain. See, for CO1, okay, course outcome 1, there is no program outcome mapped. You can see the data from the previous slide. I will, but PO1 is mapped to CO2 and CO3, and PO2 is mapped to CO3. That's it. Okay, and PO1 is also mapped to CO6, and PO2 is also mapped to 60. Okay, this you can see from the previous slide. Go to the next slide. Sorry, previous slide. Yeah, you can see. Okay, in this CO2, CO3 is mapped to PO1. Okay, 1B question. You can see. 1B question is CO3 is mapped to PO1, CO3 is mapped to PO1, and so on. You can see PO1 is everywhere. Okay. Now let us see with respect to CO3 how to calculate the PO1 attainment. Okay. With respect to CO3, I am not talking about CO2, sir. CO3. CO3 here it is how much is 64%? It is 58%. Here also CO3, PO1 CO3 is mapped here. And this is PO1 is also here, CO3. Here also CO3 is there, and here also CO3 is there. So finally, you can see the red one, sir. 64 plus 58, 54, 60 plus 56 by 5. So the PO1 with reference to CO3 attainment is 58.4. This is how we need to map. So the PO1 with reference to CO3 is 58.4%. Similarly, coming to PO2, ఇందులో చూడండి PO2 ఎక్కడ ఉంది 1A 1B ఇక్కడ ఉంది చూడండి CO3 దగ్గర 1 PO2 with respect to CO3 is mapped here. Yes, and also here in the, yes, here and also here and also here. Okay, CO3 is mapped here. So 54 plus 60, 54 plus 60 by 2. So PO2 is mapped in only these two course outcomes. Okay. So finally, see 54 plus 60 by 2 is 57. Okay. Come to the next slide. This is how we have mapped. You can see CO2 is mapped. What is this 52 already I told, and 58.4 already I told, and CO3 with respect to PO2 is 57. There are no other COs and POs are mapped. Okay, to our question paper. Okay, coming to CO6. Previous slide, please. CO6 is mapped to, here I have not written. Okay, CO6 is mapped to CO3. What is the percentage? 60. You can see 60, right? Next slide, please. See, both PO1 and PO2 are mapped to CO6. This is how we map the course outcomes and program outcomes. Okay. Previous slide, please. Previous slide. So let me speak in Telugu also. చూడండి, ఇక్కడ మనం సిఓపిఓ అటైన్మెంట్ క్యాల్కులేట్ చేయాలి అంటే ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ నేను ఇక్కడ ఒక శాంపిల్ తీసుకున్నాను. ఒక 10 స్టూడెంట్స్ తీసుకున్నాను. 10 స్టూడెంట్స్ ని వాళ్ళ యొక్క 1A క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్స్ క్వశ్చన్ లో ఎన్ని వచ్చాయి, 1B లో ఎన్ని వచ్చాయి, 2A 2B 3A 3B వరకు ఎన్ని మార్క్స్ వచ్చాయో మనం క్లియర్ గా చూపించాం. ఓకే, ఒక ఎక్సెల్ షీట్ తీసుకోండి. ప్రతి స్టూడెంట్ 1A ఎన్ని వచ్చాయి, 1B ఎన్ని వచ్చాయి, అలా మీ దగ్గర 60 మంది స్టూడెంట్స్ ఉంటే 60 మంది ఇందులో వేసి యూ నీడ్ టు మేక్ ద టోటల్. ఓకే, అండ్ ఆ క్వశ్చన్ 1Aకి 5 మార్క్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఇక్కడ 10 స్టూడెంట్స్ తీసుకున్నాం కాబట్టి 10 into 5 50 మార్క్స్ ఇస్ ద మాక్సిమం మార్క్స్. అవుట్ ఆఫ్ 50 మార్క్స్ ఈ 10 మంది కలిపి 26 మార్కులు తీసుకున్నారు 1A క్వశ్చన్ లో. ఓకే, అంటే అక్కడ పర్సంటేజ్ ఎంత వచ్చింది? 52% మనం ఆ స్టూడెంట్స్ అచీవ్ చేయగలిగారు. అండ్ మన క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ లో చూస్తే, ఓకే, ది CO నంబర్ attributed to 1A is CO2 and PO1. అంటే మనం క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ లోనే మ్యాప్ చేసాం CO2 PO1 అని. సిమిలర్లీ అదర్ క్వశ్చన్స్, దీన్ని బట్టి మనకు ఒక అవగాహన వచ్చింది. ఏంటది? CO నంబర్ కి ఏ క్వశ్చన్లు మ్యాప్ అయి ఉన్నాయి, అలాగే ప్రోగ్రామ్ అవుట్కమ్లు ఏ క్వశ్చన్ కి మ్యాప్ అయి ఉన్నాయి తెలిసింది. ఓకే, కొన్ని కాంబినేషన్స్ కూడా ఉన్నాయి చూడండి. ఓకే, PO12 ఓకే, ఈ 2 క్వశ్చన్స్ లో PO12 కూడా ఉన్నాయి. సో ప్రతి క్వశ్చన్ CO మ్యాపింగ్ అయిపోయింది. ఓకే, సో క్వశ్చన్ వైజ్ మనం ఇప్పుడు అనలైజ్ చేయాలి. ఒక్కొక్క క్వశ్చన్ వైజ్ అనలైజ్ చేయాలి. అండ్ కోర్స్ అవుట్కమ్స్, ప్రోగ్రామ్ అవుట్కమ్స్ మనం మ్యాప్ చేయాలి. కోర్స్ అవుట్కమ్ క్యాల్కులేట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాం మనం? ఇక్కడ పైన ఉన్న వాల్యూస్ ఏవైతే 54, 64, 58 ఉన్నాయో, ఒక క్వశ్చన్ లో CO2 అనేది ఓన్లీ 1A లో మాత్రమే మనం అటైన్ అయింది కాబట్టి అది 52% ఉంది. కానీ CO3 తీసుకుంటే 1B లో ఉంది, 2A లో ఉంది, 2B లో ఉంది, 3A లో ఉంది, 3B లో ఉంది. కాబట్టి మనం యావరేజ్ తీసుకోవాలి. దాని అటైన్మెంట్ ఏంటంటే టోటల్ చేసి యావరేజ్ చేయాలి. దట్ మీన్స్ 64, 38, 54, 60, 56 by 5 వేస్తే మన CO అటైన్మెంట్ పర్సంటేజ్ వచ్చింది. ఓకే, సిమిలర్లీ మన PO అటైన్మెంట్ వాల్యూస్ కూడా మనం చూసుకోవాలి. అయితే ఈ రెండింటికి దేనికి మ్యాప్ అయ్యిందో ముందు మనం చార్ట్ తీసుకుంటే మంచిది. ఎందుకంటే అన్ని POలు మొత్తం మనం 12 POలు ఉన్నాయి. 12 POల్లో కూడా అన్ని సాటిస్ఫై అవ్వాలండి. ఇక్కడ మనం చూస్తే ఓన్లీ PO1, 2 2 POలు మాత్రమే ఇవి మ్యాప్ అయి ఉన్నాయి. కాబట్టి ఆ 2 POలు ఏ కోర్స్ అవుట్కమ్స్ కి మ్యాప్ అయి ఉన్నాయో అది ఎంత పర్సంటేజ్ మనం క్యాల్కులేట్ చేయాలి. దానికి చేయాలంటే ఏం చేస్తాం మనం? సో PO1 యాక్చువల్లీ ఒకసారి నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్కి వెళ్ళండి సార్. ఓకే, PO వరకు వస్తే ఇప్పుడు ఇది ఆల్రెడీ మనం అనేసుకున్నాం. ఎలా ఈ 52 ఎలా వచ్చింది, 58.4 ఎలా వచ్చింది, మనం యావరేజ్ తీసేసుకున్నాం, రైట్? ఓకే, అండ్ PO1 ఇది PO1 చెప్పుకున్నామండి. PO1 57.3 ఎలా వచ్చింది, PO2 57. లెట్ us డిస్కస్ దిస్ ఆల్సో. PO మనం కోర్స్ అవుట్కమ్ అటైన్మెంట్ 52, 58.4 ఎలా చేయాలో చెప్పు. ఓకే, అండ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అవుట్కమ్ 57.3, 57.2 ఎలా వచ్చిందో చూడండి. ప్రోగ్రామ్ అవుట్కమ్ 1, ప్రోగ్రామ్ అవుట్కమ్ 2, 1 57.3, 2 57. బ్యాక్ వెళ్ళండి ఒకసారి, గో టు బ్యాక్ స్లైడ్. ఓకే, అది ఎలా వచ్చింది చెప్తాను చూడండి. ప్రోగ్రామ్ అవుట్కమ్ 1 చూడండి, అన్నిట్లో ప్రోగ్రామ్ అవుట్కమ్ 1 ఉంది. ఇవన్నీ చేసి యావరేజ్ చేస్తే 57.3 వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, 52, 64, 58, 54, 60 ప్లస్ 56 by 6 వేస్తే 57.3 వస్తుంది. ఓకే, అండ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అవుట్కమ్ 2 ఎక్కడ ఉంది చూడండి, ఈ రెండిట్లోనే ఉంది. ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఉంది? దిస్ ఇస్ 2B అండ్ 3A. ఓకే, ఈ రెండిట్లని యావరేజ్ చేస్తే మనకి 57 వస్తుంది. ఓకే, ప్రోగ్రామ్ అవుట్కమ్ 2. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్ ప్లీజ్. నౌ ఇప్పుడు ఈ సిఓలు పిఓలు రెండు ఏ మ్యాప్ అయి ఉండొచ్చు. మనకి సిఓ అటైన్మెంట్ క్యాల్కులేట్ చేసాం పర్సంటేజ్, పిఓ అటైన్మెంట్ క్యాల్కులేట్ చేసాము. అందులో అన్ని లేవు, ఓన్లీ CO1, CO2, CO3. ఓకే, CO1 కూడా లేదు, CO2, CO3, CO6 ఈ మూడే వీటిలో అటైన్మెంట్స్ క్యాల్కులేట్ చేసాం, ఎందుకంటే అవే కనెక్ట్ అయి ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి. అలాగే పిఓలు కూడా మనం క్యాల్కులేట్ చేస్తాం. బట్ ఏ సిఓ ఏ పిఓ మ్యాచ్ అవుతుంది అనేది కూడా మనం ఒకసారి చూసేద్దాం. ఇఫ్ యు సీ ఈ టేబుల్లో చూస్తే CO3 PO1, ఓకే, ఈ రెండు మ్యాప్ చేసాం. అది ఎలా చేసామంటే బ్యాక్ వెళ్ళని చెప్తాం. CO3 విత్ PO1 ఈ కిందకి రండి. CO3 ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఉంది చూడండి, ఎక్సెప్ట్ ఫస్ట్ 1A లో తప్ప అన్నిట్లోనే CO3 ఉంది. ఓకే, అండ్ PO1 ఎక్కడ ఉంది, అన్నిట్లోనే PO1 ఉంది. సో వీ నీడ్ టు యాడ్ ఆల్ 64, 58 అంటే 52 తప్ప మిగతా 5 యాడ్ చేసి బై చేస్తే మనకి PO1 అటైన్మెంట్ వస్తుంది. దట్ ఈస్ విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు CO3, రైట్? అండ్ కమింగ్ టు ద PO2 విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు CO3. PO2 ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఉంది చూడండి, ఓన్లీ రెండింటి దగ్గరే ఉంది, ఇది ఒకటి ఆ నెక్స్ట్ ఒకటి. ఓకే, CO3 ఇక్కడ కూడా ఉంది. ఆ రెండింటిని యావరేజ్ చేస్తే 57 వచ్చింది. నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్ ప్లీజ్. అవే ఇక్కడ వేసాం చూసారా, 58.4 and 57. PO1 with respect to CO3 is mapped here, PO2 with respect to CO3 is mapped here, and similarly CO6. అంతే, దట్స్ ఇట్. అంటే మనం ఇంతవరకే చేస్తున్నాం. వీఆర్ నాట్ గోయింగ్ టు డూ ద రూబ్రిక్స్ అండ్ ఆల్సో ద పెర్ఫార్మెన్స్ ఇండికేటర్స్, రైట్ సార్? ఆర్ యూ లిసనింగ్?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So next slide please. So this is what we have learned in this session. We are seeing what is CO, what is PO in OBE, what is CO-PO mapping. We have also touched upon PO's competency performance indicators. కానీ దీన్ని మనం CO-PO మ్యాపింగ్ లో మనం పెట్టలేదు, అవేంటో తెలుసుకున్నాం అంతే. ఇందులో బ్లూమ్స్ టాక్సానమీ లెవెల్స్ గురించి తెలుసుకున్నాము, and how to calculate CO-PO attainment. Okay, that is what we are seeing today, and this is sufficient for our NAAC purpose. Okay, tomorrow what we do is we will take one question paper, we will prepare question paper based on the Bloom's taxonomy levels, and also let us map the course outcomes and program outcomes, and we will find out the CO-PO attainment using the simple method. Okay, and there is, as I said, there is another method called rubrics, and I am not using the rubrics in this particular thing because if I go to rubrics, then we will not do anything. Let us confine up to this particular point, and tomorrow we are going to do at least one question paper, and we are going to apply this outcome-based education and find out the CO-POs. Okay, and we will calculate the CO-PO attainment for at least one paper for each teacher. Okay, so finally, all these things we are doing it for quality. So quality is not a one-time effort. It is a journey, not a destination. Right? Thank you. Sir, if you have any doubts, please ask me. Anyone is having doubts, they can unmute themselves and they can ask me. Sir, keep the presentation because
Yes, sir.
And you can leave some comments also, whether you understood or not. Nene maatladesana enti anedi you can give me. Anyone is having questions, please. Anyone can ask the questions.
Hope they will get the doubts while doing it, sir.
While doing it, absolutely. It is not, sir. Actually, first time when we listen, we won't understand. But when you put it on paper, then obviously you will get so many doubts. Tomorrow I will be there. Let us not assemble at one place. Let us from evening from 4:30 to 6, we will have a we will be at one place and we will start doing it for one subject, so that that will be shown to our NAC peer team.
Sir. Sir,
Sir,
can I consolidate? Sir.
Yeah, please consolidate.
Sir, first of all, I would like to express my extreme thanks in regards to your presentation, sir, on behalf of IQAC.
Yeah.
It's an excellent presentation and is easily understandable. So hope everyone understood and practice that in tomorrow's session. There may be doubts. There may be the faculty members coming up with. So then you may resolve them immediately. Sir, yes. It's a pleasure to have your session, sir. And to all the faculty members. So why this session had happened? First of all, we are marching towards autonomy, NBA, and etc. And it's very essential now, because on the other day, when Karthik sir had come to our college and reviewed the things. So in the best practices, we named OBE as one best practice, and that we are practicing now, where we may lose marks. And madam stressed upon this and asked principal sir to throw some light on the attainment process. So in this regard, principal sir had taken the initiative and explained, and introductory session had given. So this is like an expert session only, and I hope everyone had understood this. And we should do it for at least 2 to 4 subjects in each department. Higher authorities have instructed that. So we need to implement this outcome-based education. So that is COPO attainment, mapping and attainment process for at least 2 to 4 subjects in every department, so that we will explain to the committee, NAC peer committee, that we are in the process of OBE. So that we may attain some at least 50 to 60% of marks in the best practice number 1. So this is the essence of listening to the outcome-based education, COPO mapping and attainment process, and implementing that in the subjects related to our departments. So that is the overall outcome of this particular takeaway from this presentation. Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I thank all the faculty members who attended this session, and hope you gained from this session and how to do the COPO mapping and attainment. Thank you, one and all. And one more thing, I would like to thank our management for giving us this opportunity to get this session done. So anything from you, sir, and anything from faculty side also.
Thank you very much, the thing is, this particular OBE, we have almost 80 marks in our NAC, and we don't want to lose marks from OBE point of view, right? So,
sir, 18 to 4, sir, 18 to 4, 320 marks, sir.
320 marks. So we need to definitely score some marks. So that's why we will put little efforts tomorrow, so that every staff member should do at least one subject, this course outcome and program outcome mapping. In future, we will complete with our rubrics also. Let us confine to whatever we have discussed today, and definitely that will fetch some marks to our. Thank you very much.
Faculty members. If there are no things, we'll end up the session.